When I decided to get a job, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do. I knew I didn't want to work at a restaurant or anything like that, and I didn't want anything boring. One of my parents' friends owned the flower shop downtown, and he had mentioned coming in and helping him out. So I went in, and I wasn't really sure if I was going to like that or if I'd have fun, but I'm really glad I did. I get to work under Mr. John Hickey, who graduated from Mississippi State and studied forestry. And before preparing for this speech, I knew some stuff, but he gave me excessive tips and facts to use when I did it, and I also did research of my own. Today I will take you through 3 different phases of a flower arrangement and teach you different tips that you can use on your own. First, we'll start with the empty bowl. This is a rose bowl, and according to Every Woman's Encyclopedia, roses die because the right vase is not used for them. With this type of bowl, all the flowers can easily get water and they won't die as quickly. To hold your flowers, we use something called a frog, and this is just willow branches wrapped up. And Mr. John always says to use like a grid pattern because it draws interest in the bowl, and also it holds the flowers in a lot better. After that, you'll add your water, and you always do it up to about right there. And when you're picking the bowl up after you have water in it, you always hold it from the bottom, because if you hold it from the top, it can break and it'll cut your hand. After you finish making your frog and adding water, you move on to adding your foliage and your leaves to your arrangement. In this one, I already have some different kinds, and this is like seeded eucalyptus and then Israeli ruscus. And to demonstrate how to add the flowers and stuff, I will be adding different types of foliage. And all you do is you just kind of cut it off like right there. And you want it to be long enough to where it can go in the water, but you don't want it to be too short to where it's not reaching it. And on the way, some of the water spilled out, so all of it may not be getting in there today. But you just keep cutting it, and you always want to cut it at an angle, because if you cut it straight off and it goes down to the bottom, the flowers won't get water. But if you cut it at an angle, then it can always get water because it's not flat on the ground. You just keep doing it, and you want to get enough in there to where when you start adding your flowers, it'll hold it in there. After you have enough, we use something called Green Glow, and basically what that is plant polish, and it just makes your leaves all shiny and stuff so they don't look gross and dirty. And you don't want your foliage to get down in the water, because when the leaves start getting down in the water, it'll cause bacteria to grow, and your flowers will rot and they'll die a lot quicker. Now we'll move on to actually putting in your flowers. I'm going to be doing a dozen roses because this is something we did for Valentine's Day a few weeks ago. And what you want to do, also something, we always do a bow, and you always put it in there like with your foliage, because it adds like color to the arrangement, and it's not something that you just add on at the last minute. It adds it like throughout your arrangement, and so it's not just kind of something hanging off on the edge. This one already has 6 of the roses in there, and so now I'll show you how to put some of the other ones. As I said before, you always want to cut it at an angle so that your flowers do get water. And all your flowers are supposed to be pointed to like the center point, and it's supposed to be kind of symmetric around, so that way whatever side you're standing on in the arrangement, you can see what it looks like, and it's not like it has like a bare side or something that or a spot that doesn't have flowers. And you just keep adding them until you have as many as you want in there. Sometimes, like if you put it in and you see that it's too long, all you do is take it back out, and you always have to cut it back, because after you cut a flower, you have 3 seconds to get it in water, or the bottom will seal up and it'll die a lot quicker. You keep adding them until you have as many as you want. Let's see. How many is that? No. Okay, we have 3 more to add. And when you're doing roses, a good way to figure out if they're still good to use or not is to touch them like right here, and if they're kind of firm, then they're still good to use. But if they're starting to fall apart and if they're not firm right there, then chances are you probably need to get a new flower, because it won't last very much longer. Okay, 1 more, and that'll be a dozen. Okay, after you get all your main flowers in, your focus flowers, we go back in and we add something called filler. This is wax flower, and basically what a filler flower does It adds more color to your arrangement, and also it helps hold your other flowers in, and it keeps them from flopping out and stuff when you're carrying it. When you're cutting plants, like filler flowers, if you cut it down close to the bloom, then you can keep using the whole stem and you don't waste as many flowers. You don't have to keep ordering and buying stuff. After you get as many filler flowers and you get as many in there as you want, you're done with your arrangement. In conclusion, these different phases all play together in forming a flower arrangement. Many of you probably didn't know the simplicity of making a flower arrangement. I didn't know anything when I started working for Mr. John, and now it's something I love to do. And at work I get to use different creativity skills, and I get to learn different things every day. I love getting to do it, and maybe after the speech you'll try it too.